The Appaloosa horses, my favorites, are known throughout the world as the spotted American Indian horses that ran free and enjoyed the fast movement forward, and yet have the stamina of long treks across the plain. But can this free spirit compete in the formalized world of European horse trials? One of our horses, a great-looking stallion named Blanket, won Best of Show when he was only 3. But could this elegance go hand in hand with the precision and patience that are demanded in the Western riding and trials? We have people to help us look after our horses, such as the vet, Nick Mills, the farrier, Paul Stern, and our old friend, Peter Larrigan, who suggested to us that Blanket would be an ideal candidate for the Western trials. Fortunately for us, Peter's daughter is the dressage champion, Tanya Larrigan.
Steady, good boy.
No, you overstepped there.
Stand. Stand.
No, forward.
I started riding Blanket, well, about a year ago, really. Stand. And I decided I'd like to have a go at Western. And his dad had already done the main training on him. I decided to have a go and sort of see the difference from the work I normally do.
We're getting ready now to keep him in practice for all the different kind of things he's when he goes to a show, there's going to be there, hopefully. And, you know, you got to train him regular, at least 3 times a week. You got to keep riding him to do these kind of things. Not every day, because they get sick of it if you do them every day. So we keep on him and progressing him to get better and improve himself.
Good lad.
There you are.
Once we've broken a horse, we work them all the same. And then you'll decide which way they're going to specialise as they get older and sort of calmer and more sensible in their work. But on the whole, we tend to do a little bit of everything with all the horses. The difference in the Western is this trial or trail obstacles we're doing. We have to put lots of different things around so that they get used to them and don't get frightened when they see them and meet them at new shows. The only problem is you don't know what they're going to put at every show.
The original Appaloosa Society was started in America from foundation stock, of which Blanket's parents were, relating back to the American Indian horses. Britain started its own Appaloosa Society, and each year they have a horse show. This year, the Western classes are of great interest to us because we're entering Blanket for the first time.
Oh, Blanket. How are you today? Nice. Is he all right today? Come on. There's a good boy. Oh, the good boy. No. We know this. Well, we don't do much different than any other morning. We just get up a lot earlier and get him clean and fed early so he get ready for the journey. And you might have a couple of hours trip or 3-hour trip. And say when you get there, you take him out of the box, and it's the same as every show you go to. It's all different. And you just go there and hope for the best.
Jacket, ready. Saddles, grooming kit.
Well, we brush him down, and about twice a week we use the electric grooming kit on him. And the rest of the week we hand groom him.
2 bridles. Blast, Western bridle. Western bridle.
Good boy. He seems to be enjoying it more each show we go to. Whether he's keeping up or not, I don't know. We just hope he does. But at the moment he's doing very well, and we're really pleased with him. Go along the road and do about 40, 50 miles an hour. There's no good in going any faster in case you got an emergency stop. So you got to go steady so the horse is relaxed while you're travelling with him. So when you get to the other end, he comes out nice and fresh without worrying.
Bye.
There you go. Thank you.
that's only because we arrived up the night before. It's a long trip, so one, we thought it'd be a little bit stiff and also a little bit fresh coming out to a new place and other horses around. So that's really just to loosen him off and what we call is take the edge off him and make him a little bit calmer for the next day. It's very important to have yourself and the horse well turned out at the shows. The thing is that we personally like to have Blanket free, or let's say the natural look, where everything's long and flowing. Well, looking at Blanket, he, for me, is what I'd say the original Appaloosa. And the difference is a lot of the English-bred ones seem to be a lot bigger and heavier, possibly, type of animal. But on the whole, most of the other Appaloosa people seem to plat them all up. I don't know if it does go against it in the judging, but at the moment it seems to be all right. It doesn't affect us in the Western, but the English, I think they prefer to have them platted, really. Well, we've two different competitions. The morning classes are English riding horse, and that's obviously, you've got to show them in the English saddle and bridle and that sort of turnout.
Blanket was bred from foundation stock and therefore is a smaller horse and an Indian pony. His conformation is different from the English horses. They are more like thoroughbreds with spots. To enter Blanket in an English class was a bit tricky because he is so different. An English class differs that the bridle used is different, the bit is different, the saddle is very different. An English saddle has different stirrups, and a Western saddle is much more comfortable and was originally built for cattlemen who had to take long treks across America to bring cattle to the marketplace. English people dress in a different way. It's much more sophisticated. They wear hair nets, they wear hard hats, they wear tweed jackets and high boots, and they sit forward. Whereas in Western, they wear jeans and T-shirts, and it's mainly for pleasure. They have pleasure classes. Western riding is something I love. Even though I grew up and was taught English riding as a kid, I then went out west in America and started riding Western. And oh, I couldn't ride English again. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's a bit too schooled, I think.
The judge is actually looking for the way the horse goes and how he feels, because sometimes when we're looking at them, they can look very nice, and yet the judge will have a totally different feel, and it'll be hard and horrible and argumentative, so he'll move that one down the line. I was quite surprised at Blankett's this high up, because comparing him to all the others, he is so totally different. But after the class, the judge said to me, or rather, as the judge dismounted off him, he said he really did enjoy the ride. He was a lovely ride. And I was very pleased with that. So now, just to set the scene for the next class, we have to totally change everything on Blankett and myself. He has to have his saddle and his bridle taken off, and then the Western saddle and bridle put on. And while that's getting done, then I'll be getting changed into the Western gear, which is very different, and it gives you a different feel totally when you're riding. It's more relaxed, I think, really.
English saddles are great for jumping and hunting, whereas a Western saddle is comfortable and wonderful to sit in. They're really built for people who want to ride for long periods of time. I say they're like an armchair. This saddle was built in Texas for Blanket, and the tooling is part of the Western tradition. I think it's when cowboys had a lot of time when they were sitting around the campfire, they just started tooling their saddles.
The final part for the saddle, doing up the girth, which is known as the cinch, is making sure it's done up tight enough and that all the straps and knots are done correctly, which all goes to your final appearance in the ring.
Who's a good boy? Come here now.
Finally, with the bridle, it's a really ornate piece of equipment on the horse. With the bit, it just has that little bit more leverage. It's what I call my fourth gear, just in case he starts getting a little bit cheeky. It just helps keep him under control, that bit.
Western pleasure is all to do with the rapport of the horse and the rider. You don't really notice that the rider is kicking or pulling the horse. That's why there's a nice loose rein. The horse is totally in tune to whatever that rider wants him to do. Therefore, discipline and connecting is what it's all about.
Right, so watching these horses in the Western, the judges are looking for a much slower way of going. They call like the canter is the lope and the trot is the jog. And the style of the horse, if you watch it, is also lower and longer and going on a longer rein, but he mustn't go faster. He's still got to give this very calm sort of appearance to the onlooker. And sometimes I wonder, though, how you get anywhere in a hurry. It's all so slow. And then the judges don't ride the horses in the Western classes. They, I suppose, just think, well, that looks a very nice horse, very well schooled. That is, in my opinion, the best horse. So it's a lot to do with how the rider presents the horse in these classes and the schooling they've done on him before they even go in the ring.
Okay.
The Western riding is to test the ability of the horse and rider, and to check that the rider, I suppose, knows what they're doing, because we have to do what's called change of leads. So we're cantering along, come back to trot, and then canter on the other leg. And it shows that the horse is well balanced, and he should stay nice and quiet, head down without throwing his sort of head up in the air and opening his mouth. You shouldn't really see too much happening between the horse and the rider. They should be nice and quiet. So as the rider just bends or leans over a fraction, the horse will come round the corner, and using the neck rein as well, which helps. It's a strange class because a lot of it is in the lope and just with these simple changes. So it's not a very easy one to ride, I don't think, because there's not always that many things that can go wrong, obviously. God, I'm absolutely amazed. I can only say it's the schooling that we've been putting into Blanket's helped, paid off. I'm surprised to look at this course because one of the things I've been practicing, or rather we've been practicing, is this thing called a ground tie. And that's where you get off and drop the reins, walk around your horse. I'd be blowed if it's not even in the test we've got to do. But it's quite hard. This bridge, I haven't been over this bridge where it's placed over a water sort of effect type thing. So that's going to be quite difficult because when the horse puts the foot on the floor, or on the bridge, he's going to hear a sound, and that could frighten him.
The trouble with some of these bridges they don't put anything underneath, they make them very hollow. And of course that frightens the horse because there's a hollow sound when he puts his foot on it, and that makes him jump. If he touches the poles, he gets marks against him. So he's learning that one, he's coming on very well at that. So a lot of these well-trained horses that's been doing it for a few years, they don't touch the poles, they walk in, and they do it very well.
The other thing is that lifting the bag off the wing isn't very easy because sometimes the horses think you're going to lift up and sort of bring the bag to them very quickly, and then they get a fright.
another one.
I know.
No respect to that, eh? Very
I
good,
thought I was
Mike.
almost going to fall off over that bridge.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah,
take
but
that.
he went very well. Yeah, he's a good boy. Right on.
It's nice to win, but I think for Linda and Paul, the whole thing is just getting Blanket out and just getting him to be seen by everybody so that they can all sort of appreciate the sort of horse he is and taking part and promoting the breed.
Oh, they'll be tickled pink. Yeah, they really will. They're not worried about going out winning anything, but when he does win it, it's really terrific. And they're really pleased with the way he's going. They really do enjoy it.
Amazing.
Congratulations. Thank you. Brilliant. A bit ruffled there.
Oh, good boy. Oh,
I'm so proud of you and Blanket.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that was from the last show, the American
Right.
Breed Show,
Right.
and that one's for the trail,
And what's that
Yeah.
big one for?
Western riding.
oh. There's a good boy. Good lad. There you are. Thank you.
Thank you. Look at him. He does look beautiful. Blanket. He says, I smell all the other horses.
Yeah.